Biotrans, and we are advising ABC properly, and we are working well together. One of the things that I have raised in the mayoral committee is that we need to include them in the value chain.
I want to move a little bit away from governance. Let's take a step back on the PA story.
No, before you move,
Yes.
you said what I did couldn't it have spread in the city. I'm responsible for roads and transport. If I were the mayor, maybe it would have, but I'm not the mayor. I'm the MMC of roads and transport.
Okay, maybe let's look at the mayor for 2 seconds.
And it's spread there.
Let's speak for 2 seconds about the mayor. What is your assessment of Dada Morodo's performance as Joburg mayor?
We are a team. We are working together. There are challenges. A coalition in Johannesburg. It's the ANC got into a coalition. Now the ANC has been used to moving alone, so it's difficult when you've got other partners. But at this point in time, we are working. We are talking to each other. We are being frank, and I think we can then move forward. I think at the beginning there was that sense of I'm the mayor, therefore I make decisions. That's why MMC Chwako, after his speech, raised an issue that we were not asked to do inputs. But we have since regrouped and said, Mayor, this is not how we should be moving. And I think we are in that space now where we are able to talk frankly to each other and say, how do we take the city forward?
There was this interesting thing that happened in the lead up to this formation, the situation of Joburg's government. And part of it was the PA's movement from working with the DA to wanting to work with the EFF and the ANC. And part of the complaints, I remember actually trying to speak to the DA about keeping the PA, but the DA adamant that there's a trust deficit. That there's this issue about trusting the PA, working with the PA. And it's not the first time I heard it. It kind of stays with the PA. Perhaps you can maybe speak to that if I speak about the history and where PA is today.
Tshidi, I'm one about TA. They are just John is fine. John Steenhuisen lives reality. He understands reality of South Africa. Helen Zille is still in that white supremacist mindset that only a white man can do it and a black person can't. Helen Zille is still in that mind of authoritativeness. We would agree with John in a meeting with AfriForum, Action and other parties. But John will come back tomorrow with a different scenario. So when Helen Zille spoke about trust deficit, it was not trust deficit. We refused to be guardian voice of Helen Zille or the DA. We refused as the PA. We were voted in, and we've made that very, very clear. In fact, in one of the meetings when we were negotiating the coalition, Helen Zille says to me and my president, Gideon McKenzie, that we must prove ourselves. The Federal Council says that we must prove ourselves with one admin. If we have proven ourselves, they will then give us a. I said to her, what the hell do you think of me? You think we care about the opinion of your Federal Council? Why should we prove ourselves to you? Why can't you prove yourselves to us? Who do you think you are? I said, Jela, don't talk to us like that. We have nothing to prove here. We have been voted here. We have not done a favor to be here. The people voted for us. So that is the problem. So, and also we are giving the DA, for the first time, the DA is worried about losing Western Cape. The Patriotic Alliance have come in, and the Patriotic Alliance have now taken from them, and we are their biggest threat. We are their biggest competitor. That is why Helen Zille hates us. But when you sit with John, myself and John exchange cigars every now and then when we meet. And when you sit with John, you sit with the Freedom Front Plus, and you're having a bra. You agree on how we should move forward. But John Wabatu, then Magogo, he goes to report. Magogo says, no. Not that way, this way. So and what I'm saying, the Freedom Front has also said.
So it's not me, you're correct. But we'll come back. I promise you I'm going to come back to all of this. I want to go back to the story of the PA's formation? Because you know everything you've been called. I don't need to remind you that people will label you everything in between, including Sushi King, your attempted business. We know about your criminal past. You had gone via EFF, the first attempt into politics. What didn't work about that route that worked out with the PA?
All right. Everything about my life and Clayton's life was a journey. Even the EFF was part of that journey. So here is Malema and Shivamba. Floyd. I was always closer to Floyd than Julius. So the president, the current president, Cyril, was the chair of the disciplinary
of the NC.
Of the appeal of the NC.
Yes, appeals committee. Yeah.
So I called Floyd. I said, Floyd, you are going to be expelled. You and Julius. He says, no. We spoke to Cyril. We understand each other. Cyril understands our position. I said, no, I'm telling you on authority that you are going to be expelled. And when they expel you, let's get together, form a party focused on the youth. The youth has got more numbers. Let's form a political party. Then Floyd says, sure, let's wait and see. They get expelled. Floyd calls me, hey man, how did you know? I said, I don't worry about how I knew.
We never tell our sources.
Yeah. So now, Floyd says, hey, it's not a long time. Then I drive to Limpopo, to Polokwane, to meet Julius. We go to Chesanyama. After Chesanyama, we go to his house. I say, bruh, after 5 years, you cannot come back as the